Listen to me, I'm gonna tell you something most people don't want to hear. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. We live in a world where everybody wants the glory, but nobody wants the grind. Everybody wants the trophy, but they don't want to sweat for it. And the moment they stumble, they think it's over. They think the dream is dead. But hear me now. Your failures are not there to destroy you. They're there to build you. Every time you fall flat on your face, life is giving you a choice. You can stay down there, complain, blame, and quit, or you can get up, dust yourself off and say, "All right, that didn't work. Let's try again." Some of you are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect set of circumstances before you take action. But perfection never comes. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna get laughed at. You're gonna get told no more times than you can count. And if you're afraid of that, then you're afraid of winning. Because every champion you've ever admired, every innovator, every leader, they all failed more than you can imagine. They've been broke. They've been doubted, but they've been rejected. But they kept moving. They kept swinging. They learned from every wrong turn until they found the right road. And here's the secret. Failure doesn't define your response to failure does. You can take it as a sign to stop or as a lesson to grow. You can let it break you or you can let it shape you. So when you fall, and you will fall, I want you to get back up faster than life can knock you down. Take every no and turn it into fuel. Take every setback and turn it into a step forward. Because success isn't built in a straight line, it's built in the climb, the fight, the resilience to keep going when most people would quit. So embrace failure, own it, learn from it, let it sharpen you. And when you finally reach that moment of victory, you'll know you earned it. Not because you avoided failure, but because you conquered it. Failure is often seen as the enemy of success, a roadblock that halts progress and crushes dreams. But the truth is that failure is woven into the very fabric of achievement. The path to any meaningful goal is never a straight, smooth highway. It is a winding road filled with detours, potholes, and sometimes even dead ends. Every great inventor, athlete, artist, or entrepreneur has stumbled more times than they have soared, yet those stumbles were not wasted moments. They were the stepping stones that built their path forward. When you begin to understand that failure is not a sign of weakness, but a sign that you are trying, pushing, and stepping outside of your comfort zone, you start to shift your relationship with it. Failure becomes a teacher, one that delivers lessons no book, seminar, or motivational speech can fully provide. Each misstep carries a message, revealing what works, what doesn't, and what might need to change in order to reach the next level. The idea that failure is part of success is not just motivational fluff, it is a reality proven by history. Think about the countless times Thomason failed before finally inventing the light bulb. Every failed attempt wasn't the end, but rather a step closer to discovering the right solution. The Wright brothers crashed again and again before mastering the principles of flight. These individuals did not see failure as the opposite of success, they saw it as a critical part of the process. In fact, if you are succeeding without failing, it often means you are not pushing hard enough, not challenging yourself, or not aiming high enough. Comfort zones rarely produce greatness, and the moment you step beyond them, mistakes and failures are inevitable companions. Embracing failure as part of success also shifts the emotional weight it carries. Instead of feeling shame or defeat when things go wrong, you start feeling curiosity. You begin to ask, what can I learn from this? What is this moment trying to teach me? That mindset turns a potential dead end into a detour toward growth. It allows you to experiment, to take risks, and to be bolder in your decisions, knowing that even if you fall, you are still moving forward. Failure doesn't mean you are back at square one. It means you have gathered information, sharpened your skills, and gained perspective you didn't have before. People who truly understand that failure is part of success are not deterred by setbacks because they measure progress differently. They don't just count the wins, they count the lessons. They see value in the struggle, knowing it is shaping their resilience and strengthening their character. Without failure, success loses its depth and meaning because the struggle is what gives the victory its sweetness. Every stumble becomes a reminder that you are in the arena, that you are daring to pursue something worth chasing, and that you are willing to endure temporary loss in order to achieve lasting triumph. In today's world, the desire for instant gratification has created a mindset where many people want the rewards without putting in the hard work required to earn them. They admire the finished product, the championship trophy, the successful business, or the glamorous lifestyle they see others living, but they overlook the years of sacrifice, discipline, and setbacks that made those achievements possible. The glossy highlight reels on social media feed this illusion, making success look effortless as if it comes overnight. But in reality, every accomplishment worth having is built on a foundation of consistent effort, sleepless nights, and moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. The grind is rarely celebrated because it is messy, uncomfortable, and often invisible to the outside world. Yet it is in those unseen hours of labor that greatness is forged. The problem is that people tend to romanticize the end result without fully appreciating the process that leads there. They want the medal without running the race, the applause without delivering the performance, the business profits without the countless failures and financial risks that come before stability. This desire for the shortcut creates a dangerous trap, because when things don't happen quickly, frustration sets in and many give up, thinking they are not capable or that success is reserved for a select few. The truth is, there is no way around the work. The grind is not optional. It is the price of admission for any meaningful achievement. In every field, those who rise to the top are the ones who embrace the grind instead of avoiding it. Athletes push through grueling training sessions that leave them sore and exhausted because they know each drop of sweat is an investment in future victory. Artists spend hours perfecting their craft in solitude, reworking pieces until they finally feel right. Entrepreneurs face rejection after rejection, learning from each no, until they finally find their yes. None of them started with the glory, they started with the grind. They faced days when nothing seemed to work, when progress felt invisible, and when the temptation to give up whispered in their ears. But they kept showing up, day after day, even when nobody was watching. Wanting the glory without the grind is like wanting a harvest without planting seeds, watering the soil, and waiting through the seasons. It's an unrealistic expectation that only leads to disappointment. The grind is the crucible that tests commitment and filters out those who only want the outcome without the journey. Those who endure it not only build the skills and discipline needed for success, but also develop a deeper appreciation for the victory when it finally arrives. The grind makes the success sweeter because you know the cost you paid, and you understand that every drop of effort was worth the result you now hold in your hands.
Failure presents every person with a defining moment, a crossroads where the choice made can alter the entire course of their life. When you fall, you have two clear options: stay down, surrender to the disappointment, let the failure become your final chapter, or rise up, dust yourself off. Use the experience as a stepping stone to try again. This choice is more than a decision made in the heat of the moment. It reflects your character, your resilience, your belief in the value of your goals. Staying down may feel easier in the short term because it avoids the discomfort of facing the same challenge again. It also guarantees that the potential inside you will never be fully realized. Choosing to get up is harder, but it is the choice that keeps your dream alive. The power of this decision lies in understanding that failure is not a signal to stop, but an invitation to grow. As you can see, there was nothing here. Every setback carries with it valuable lessons about what went wrong and what could be done differently next time. When you get back up and try again, you do so armed with new insights that make you better prepared for the next attempt. The process of falling and rising strengthens determination in a way that smooth, easy success never could. Each time you choose to rise, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of enduring hardship and that your goals are worth fighting for, no matter how many times you stumble. It is important to realize that the moment of failure is not the full story. It is simply one scene in a much larger narrative. Many people confuse a single defeat with the end of the journey, forgetting that the most successful individuals have faced repeated failures before achieving lasting success. There was nothing here, but the reason they made it is not because they never fell. It's because every time they fell, they stood back up, often stronger than before. Rising after failure changes your relationship with fear because you learn firsthand that falling is not fatal. It builds a kind of unshakable confidence that only comes from experiencing difficulty and refusing to be defined by it. The decision to get up also inspires others. People notice resilience. They see when someone refuses to stay down despite the odds, it sends them a message that perseverance is possible for them too. In this way, here was nothing here. Your choice to rise doesn't just affect your own life. It can ripple out and influence countless others who witness your determination. The more you practice choosing to stand again after each fall, the more natural it becomes. You begin to trust that no matter how hard life hits, you will not remain on the ground for long. Over time, this pattern of getting up, learning, trying again becomes the foundation on which your eventual success is built. Perfection is one of the most common illusions that holds people back from taking meaningful action. You doing because there was nothing here that everything must be lined up flawlessly before you begin is not only unrealistic, but also paralyzing. Life does not wait for perfect timing. Opportunities rarely arrive neatly packaged with every condition in your favor. Those who wait for the perfect plan, the perfect resources, the perfect confidence level often end up waiting forever, watching their dreams fade into nothing more than ideas they never acted upon. The pursuit of perfection creates hesitation, and hesitation leads to missed chances. Progress, on the other hand, comes from movement, even if that movement is imperfect, messy, and full of mistakes. Mistakes are not only inevitable, they are essential to growth. The very act of starting something new guarantees that you will encounter challenges you didn't anticipate. You will make errors in judgment. You will miscalculate. You will face situations that expose your lack of experience. Those situations are the very ones that teach you the lessons you need to move forward more effectively. Waiting to act until you have eliminated every possible risk or uncertainty is an impossible standard because no amount of preparation can account for every variable. The only way to truly gain clarity and skill is by engaging with the process itself. How are you doing? Because there was nothing here. When you release the need for perfection, you open the door to learning through trial and error. You give yourself permission to experiment, to take risks, and to gather information that can only be obtained through first-hand experience. Each attempt, even if flawed, moves you closer to your goal by revealing what works and what does not. The most successful individuals are not those who began perfectly, but those who began anyway and refined their methods along the way. Because there was nothing here. They understand that every mistake is an investment in improvement, and that every imperfect step still brings them closer to where they want to be. Perfectionism often disguises itself as high standards, but in reality, it can be a form of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not measuring up to your own expectations or the expectations of others. This fear convinces you that it is safer to keep preparing, researching, or planning rather than stepping into action. But the truth is, action will always teach you more than endless preparation ever could. The longer you wait, the more opportunities pass you by, and the more you reinforce the habit of inaction. The people who achieve lasting success understand that it is better to start imperfectly than to never start at all. Take the leap, knowing they will adjust mid-flight. They treat mistakes as data, not as disasters. Over time, because this willingness to act without waiting for perfect conditions builds momentum. Momentum creates results that perfectionism can never deliver. Every great accomplishment begins not with perfection, but with the courage to take that first perfect step. Champions are not defined by an absence of failure, but by the sheer number of times they have faced it and refused to be defeated. Behind every remarkable achievement lies a long history of setbacks, doubts, rejections that most people never see. What separates those who rise to greatness from those who is their ability to endure and learn from these moments instead of letting them break their spirit. Many of the individuals we admire today have stories filled with closed doors, financial struggles, public criticism, and moments when nothing seemed to work. Yet in each of those moments, they chose persistence over surrender. Failure for them, Wething here, was not a final verdict, but a necessary chapter in their story. Every no they received became motivation to seek a yes. Every failed attempt taught them something new about themselves, their craft, or their strategy. Instead of internalizing failure as a reflection of their worth, they viewed it as feedback. This mindset allowed them to adapt, refine, and push forward even when the path ahead was unclear. The process was never easy. It was this repeated exposure to difficulty that built their resilience. Without those early struggles, they would not have developed the strength needed to sustain their eventual success. The public often only sees the polished outcome, the winning performance, the groundbreaking invention, the thriving business, but rarely the countless trials it took to get there. Athletes' championship moment hides years of exhausting training sessions, injuries, and competitions lost. An author's best-selling book conceals the dozens of drafts rejected by publishers. A thriving entrepreneur's company masks the failed ventures that came before it. These hidden battles where true champions are forged. They understand that the more they fail, the more they learn, and the more they learn, the better the chances of winning become. Champions also know that rejection is not personal. It is simply part of the process. Every great achievement requires stepping into situations where success is uncertain. With that uncertainty comes the inevitability of setbacks. Instead of shrinking away from the challenge, they embrace it because they know that the struggle is what sharpens their skills. Each time they face rejection, because as there was nothing here, they grow tougher, more resourceful, and more committed to their vision.